Canada, meanwhile, will give $100 million more in humanitarian assistance to Ukraine. Harjit Sajjan is the Minister of International Development. He joins us now with more on that aid. Hi, Minister. Good to have you back on the program. Thanks for making the time.
Hi, Vashi. I just want to pass my personal congratulations to you.
Oh, that's very kind. I appreciate that. Thank you. Minister, can you detail for our audience where exactly at this point the aid will go and whether or not you have any concerns about it actually getting into the hands of people who need it, just given the conflict taking place right now?
No, thank you very much for that. Actually, really good question. We've been monitoring the situation extremely closely, even before the continued invasion that President Putin has started. Working with the United Nations, that's why we outlined earlier on our $50 million of development and humanitarian support. When we took into account working with the United Nations and other partners of the internal displacement that was going to occur, we were stockpiling resources with the UN. And now, with the horrible atrocity that with this invasion that's taken place, we have committed $100 million to the UN today to making sure that we have all the resources, and we are doing just that. We're actually sending a international humanitarian team to work with our U.S. officials, EU, to making sure that the aid goes to the right place as well.
And is that money flowing immediately, or is there a timestamp on it?
We've been flowing the money for some time now, and so the earlier announcements that we have made, that money has been flowing. The $100 million that we have announced now, that's going to follow on to with the United Nations and look at what are the needs inside, but also outside the borders as well. So, given the situation is so fluid, we are moving our resources very quickly to making sure that not just the money flows faster, but getting to the right areas, filling all the gaps as we can. As we identify new gaps, we'll work with our international partners to meet those needs as well.
I want to ask you about Canada's plan to address some of the needs of people in Ukraine beyond just what you announced. And it is a significant announcement. It's in addition to money that was already announced, $100 million new today. There are a lot of my inbox right now is full of emails from Ukrainians in this country who are worried about the ability of people who need to seek refuge in this country. And in particular, it seems as though your government is unwilling to drop the visa requirement for Ukrainians coming here. Why is that?
So first of all, our government has been looking at all our departments to making sure that we bring a whole of government support to this. In fact, actually, Minister Fraser is looking at the best method to move things along. So when it comes to reunifying families, getting people to Canada, providing the appropriate support, I know, and he also put resources in early on, a month earlier, to get ready for this. So we're moving as quickly as possible, and I know that he is very seized with the situation.
I take your point, and certainly there are modifications that your government has made to make it easier, for example, for people who are already here to extend their stay, or for people applying to come to see their applications go to the top of the pile. But respectfully, your answer didn't address the substance of my question, which is, why is your government so far unwilling to drop the visa requirement? And I'll underscore that unwillingness by pointing out at an immigration committee meeting today, a motion was put forth by the opposition to have the government consider dropping it, to allow for the government to drop that visa requirement, and Liberals voted against it. So is it your position, is it your government's position that you will not even entertain that concept?
No, so first of all, I want to make it very clear. What we're looking at is what is the best method to get Ukrainians to Canada. And there are other mechanisms that Minister Fraser has where he can actually move a lot faster. And that's what we're looking at here. It's sometimes when we look at, we can have an offer up an idea, it may not be the appropriate solution. And I can assure you that Minister Fraser is completely seized with this to help Ukrainians who are coming across the border to get them into Canada. And we want to use the fastest mechanism, making sure that they get the appropriate support, and also making sure that women and children get the appropriate needs.
When will a decision on that be announced?
He's already been working. In fact, actually, as I stated, Minister Fraser pre-positioned people and the resources into Poland and other places to making sure that we were getting ready. And I want to make it very clear, the discussion about how things should be done, that's something that Minister Fraser is absolutely seized with.
I take your point that he's seized with it, but I'm just wondering on behalf of people listening who are wondering when they might actually have an answer, when that answer might come.
Yeah, and he will provide the appropriate answers, but I just want to be able to say is that the goal of what our government is doing, what Minister Fraser is doing, is finding the best mechanism to get Ukrainians to Canada as quickly as possible.
Okay, Minister, today I listened to your comments in the press conference in which you and your colleagues, your ministerial colleagues, very specifically described how you see what is happening in Russia. You use the word, for example, the phrase rather, Russia's naked territorial aggression. It's clear that your government is condemning everything Putin is doing, the aggression shown by Russia, you specifically, and yet you are not willing to expel the Russian ambassador. How do those two things line up?
So, Vashi, we're looking at every option, and we're not taking any option off the table. We have been leading with our counterparts to making sure that we have an international response, and from the sanctions that we are imposing. So nothing is off the table, and we're going to make sure that the pressure stays on President Putin for his unprovoked attack on Ukraine.
Can you clarify, though, why in this specific instance your government has not yet moved to expel someone who represents a regime that your government has so clearly condemned, right? I've heard Minister Joly call Putin a liar. This ambassador is representative of that regime here. You can't believe that diplomacy with him is going to work at this point. So why have you not kicked him out yet?
I know that Minister Joly is taking this very seriously, and no option is off the table. And we have been very strong with our approach, and all these things will be taken into account, plus further sanctions as well.
Do you think the Russian ambassador should be expelled? Just given your comments today, like I said, I listened very carefully. You went to President Zelensky's inauguration. You talked about that. Do you think the Russian ambassador should be expelled?
First of all, what we want to do is making sure that everything that we do puts on pressure on President Putin and the support mechanism that he has. And that's what we're focused on, is how do we de-escalate the situation and put an end to the suffering that President Putin has done. So no option is off the table. Okay,
Minister, I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for your time this evening.
Great, thank you.
Hi, I'm Vashi Capellos, host of Power in Politics. See more of our show by subscribing to the CBC News channel or click the link for another video.